Let's
All right.
get it.
Yeah, it's preparing itself to connect. Hold on. Taking forever tonight, motherfuckers. Connect.
Yeah, internet's been kind of weird here, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, here it is.
Let's get it.
All right, let me make sure
Well, I had a long. I almost slept in the sauna, man. I had a long, good workout, bro.
all right, hold on, brother. We about to connect. Hold those slut thoughts. All right.
The family show.
Infernal greetings, infernal blessings to all. Welcome this evening to another episode of Thoughts and Musings. Serpent Power is the topic this evening. As you see, I abbreviated it, and from here on forth, it'll be TNM because it's too much to type. Thoughts and Musings, way too much to type. So it'll be TNM, Thoughts and Musings. Serpent Power will be the discussion tonight. I have my brother Demetrius and my brother Sarek Moose here, and we will be getting into a discussion for the first part. The second part, we will then begin to take questions. I feel like I have to repeat this over and over for some reason, but I'm going to repeat it again. The first part will be our lecture or discussion. The second part is where you all who will be watching the live video will be able to address your questions by typing it in the chat room. Okay? So we will begin this evening, like I said, with Serpent Power. But as you know, we do not stick just to the topic. We go all over the place and back again. That's just how we do. That's because the way we think is not linear, it's cyclic or circular type of thought process. Linear would take you from A through Z in a certain manner, certain direction. That's not how we do it. Okay. So, Serpent Power. This evening, the discussion will take us to Serpent Power and how it relates to the left-hand path. Now, from the perspective here in the West, when we hear Serpent Power, we usually associate it or associated with Hinduism, Buddhism, different Eastern philosophies that use the serpent symbol. Okay. As we know, it's also used in ancient Kemet. It's used in Sumeria and different places. And that is important to understand, important to know. For the reason is we have to really look at the serpent as in relates to us here on the left-hand path. Kundalini. Let's begin there. The Kundalini is considered the serpent that lays dormant by the root chakra. But when you do some form of spiritual exercises, pranayama, so on and so forth, it's supposed to activate the Kundalini. And then the Kundalini will begin to take its motion, take its journey towards up north, so to speak. So at that point, each chakra is then activated to its full capacity. Our minds, our senses are flooded with spiritual power, spiritual knowledge, just a spiritual awakening. The problem that many do not discuss, and there's a reason they don't discuss it, is that we've been given the view that everything is fluffy, hunky-dory, sweet and nice on this on a Kundalini journey. That is very far from the truth. Nothing is sweet and nice about this journey. And some of us will share some of our experiences this evening when we get around to it, on the journey not being as sweet and nice as it's depicted. Gopi Krishna wrote a lot of books dealing with the Kundalini journey. He was vilified, ostracized in India. He was kind of hated because he was never really initiated into some of their schools. Some of their gurus never initiated him. So he kind of was vilified because of that. But his experiences and as he relates them and as he describes them cannot be negated for any reason whatsoever other than people will think that it's not authentic, his experiences, but who's the one to decide what's authentic or not? That's a personal thing. Okay. So let's begin. The serpent. When we look on this planet, you find the symbol of the serpent in just about all ancient civilizations and cultures. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Indians, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, so on and so forth. And a lot of times when they depicted the serpent, not all the time, but a lot of times it was sitting on their forehead. Or they were holding a staff that had a serpent symbol on it. Okay? So when we look and understand about the serpent and its relation to the power that it's connected to, we then start to get a bigger picture. Why was this used all across the planet? All across the planet, the serpent symbol is everywhere. You go into the monotheistic religions, the Abrahamic faiths, the three main ones, and they all have a story of serpents in the garden. Moses turning his rod into a serpent, so on and so forth. So you can continuously find the symbol within the religious scriptures, religious text across the planet. So the serpent is vilified in the scriptures, but yet it's okay for Moses to turn his rod into a serpent. You get what I'm saying? It's okay for him to do that, but anybody else who uses the symbol of the serpent or the power of the serpent, it's not okay.
Well, and that's the very interesting thing about that. Like you were saying, the serpentine symbolism is everywhere on this planet, and it's only demonized in one place.
Yep.
Which leads me to think that there is something wrong with that one place.
Exactly. That one place. That's right. Now, you go back to the ancient civilizations and cultures, and some of the tablets, the records they left behind. There's a story of this planet being ruled by Tiamat. And Anu from the Anunnaki created a peace treaty and married Tiamat for their peace union between the two cultures to coexist here on the planet Earth for whatever their mission was, mining for gold, so on and so forth. But Tiamat was always associated with the draconian energy from the Dracos, the reptilians. Well, see, now we're getting somewhere. The reptilians. Where for the how should I put these guys? For the spookies, the alien nation gurus, and so on and so forth. They like to vilify the reptilians. Everything is the reptilians are evil, and the reptilians don't want to be a part of the Confederation, blah, 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 blah. And I listen to this hodgepodge bullshit, and I notice how it's always light-siders, fluffy light-siders, always demonizing the reptilians because they didn't want to submit, because they don't play the game that you want them to play. They are about self, which is kind of a left-hand path doctrine. mastering self, deifying self. So then we look at the reptilian and go a little further within the human, and we speak about the reptilian brain. But why don't they tell you that the reptilian brain is the seat of much of our psychic powers?
Mm-hmm.
Our psychic abilities come from the reptilian brain, but yet we're taught to demonize the reptilian brain. But that's where our psychic powers come from. Which one is it? You understand? It's always a suppression of knowledge that the left-hand path tends to uncover and share and reveal to others who are seeking that type of knowledge.
It's
Sound like
also a suppression of your nature as a human being. You know, the limbic system is what makes you what you are, a predator.
Exactly.
You know, you got your predatory awareness, instincts, and all of that stuff sit there. So yeah, they want that to go away. Because you know, if you don't have that, then you're very malleable at that point.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Same thing. The nature part. Sound like somebody wants to suppress who you really are. They don't want you to tap into your nature because maybe if you find that within yourself, they no longer can control you. They no longer can, you know, forge a path to where you're going in the future.
Hmm.
That's right.
Because you know, if all of that is in place and whatnot, you can only be oppressed so far before you just totally flip out and then go become like something off of Dragon Ball Z. Uh, because reptiles will do that too. Years ago, I was at the zoo here, and um, there was a bunch of these kids, elementary school kids. They were just standing up on the fences, screaming at this alligator, making all of this noise. And me and my friends were just there, and all of a sudden I felt the ground rumble. I'm like, "What the hell is that?" Then I looked towards the alligator and noticed his side was shaking. That rumbling was coming from him, and then this thing flipped out on those kids, roared at these kids. These children went flying. I've never seen anything like it. But that
Yep.
is I mean that is part of your system because we've all been in a space to where we've gotten really pissed off and then became something more than human for a moment.
That's a fact.
Yeah. I mean, you just look at it in the sense of, what happens to somebody that's backed in the corner.
Yeah.
You see a whole other side of that person that you've never seen come out just to survive. They will do
Mhm.
whatever they can to survive. That's that reptilian nature come out. It's gonna do whatever it has to survive.
So this book right here, it's called wait, Flying Serpents and Dragons.
Mm.
Flying Serpents and Dragons. This book is written by R.A. Boulay, Boulay. It's a very good book. I've had this for some time now. This when I was really into a lot of the reptilian alien type of studies. It was written in 97 and then re-released in 99. It's a good book because it takes you on a journey across Earth and the existence of humanity's reptilian past. That humanity's reptilian past that which they try to hide or hold back from you because they know that if in fact you start to do some research and really find the truth out, it might wake you up. It just
Yeah.
might wake you up. Because, for example, in this book, they go back and begin in the Eden, right? They go to the Garden of Eden. That's just where they start at. But then they go back further than that. And they show you how Yahweh of the Bible, right? Yahweh of the Bible is a reptilian of Anunnaki descent. Okay. Now, biblical people are going to have a hissy fit, shake, rattle, and roll away from you because they are totally shocked of you even saying that Yahweh, one, is a physical being, two, Yahweh is reptilian, and three, Yahweh is Enlil.
And absolutely fucking hates us.
Hates humanity with a
Yeah.
passion. Okay? Not just passion. Let me put a little street on it. Passion. All right? Why? Because Enlil understood something about humanity, the gift that humans possessed. In their nature, Anunnaki have only one nature. So let's draw a circle. A circle, okay? You split the circle in half. The circle is 360 degrees. You split it in half, 180 and 180, okay? Let's just use the terms good and evil, even though those don't exist. Those are relative terms to religious people. But those who have stepped outside of religion can see life for what it is, understand there is no good or evil. But we're going to use that for this discussion. So you have a circle here, and you divide the circle 180 good and 180 evil. What happens is these individuals who are known as the creators of humanity in these ancient tablets, cultures, and civilizations, they only had one-sided nature and they didn't have the ability to possess the other side. Okay. So in the creation of humanity, humanity was a conglomeration of different species. That's what they don't want to tell you. You know, we're not just this sweet looking, nice stuff we look at with this meat suit on and all this. We weren't that pretty in the past, y'all. I'm just, hey, let's be real. We weren't that pretty in the past. You understand? So now we look like this, and, we want to hold on to this image, but this is not what the image was. So what happens is you go to the past and you look at this and you understand that our creators had a one-sided nature, but the species that it took, the multiple species that it took to create humanity, had both the integration occurred where the human population was able to have dual natures that they themselves couldn't possess. So we had both the good and evil. This is where your Bible story comes from. Now man has become one of us, knowing good from evil, right? Because they understood that at that point, we now can surpass a certain level of nature, behavior, so on and so forth. Because of that simple thing, it was a hatred towards humans that Enlil had. Enlil understood we had a potential to be far superior, far stronger, and far more wonderful than they could ever be. Okay? So that hate continued to manifest on down to today, where your Yahwehs and your gods and all these Allahs and so on and so forth, their whole mission is to suppress humanity, enslave humanity. The left-hand path is the opposite of that. This is why they've always tried to suppress the left-hand path, because this path is the path to free you from slavery, mental slavery, physical slavery. It is the path that you should be on if you want to really, truly be a master of self. If you truly want to be a God over self. If you truly want to exalt yourself and deify yourself, this is the path that calls you to come home to this level of intellect, of knowledge. And yes, Vixen Venezuela, I know I normally don't take questions early, but you had a good question. Does the hate from Enlil equal jealousy? Yes. In the scriptures, it says, I, God, am a jealous God. That's Yahweh, also known as Enlil, speaking.
Yeah.
Saying, I am a jealous God. So if this is the omnipotent, omniscient, right? The almighty, the all-knowing, God is love, God is beautiful, And why is God jealous
Yeah.
of a mere mortal, and a mortal who you supposedly created? I'm jealous that you might worship something else, or including worshiping yourself over me. Think about it. Think about it. Now, you may ask, what does that have to do with left hand path? We're going to get there because, unfortunately, a lot of people came into this path, still had religious undertones and overtones attached to them. And they came in here and they start doing the cliff off, and they see Samael and Lilith, and they see Malak and Satan and all this. And their minds are still stuck in monotheistic religions. Their minds are still stuck within the confines of a Judaic Christian philosophy. So when you start to work this path, it becomes more difficult because instead of mastering self and deifying self, you still find yourself worshiping
Yep.
Samael, Lilith, Baal, Belial, so on and so forth. Therefore, you're back to religion even on this side.
Yeah.
You're on the left-hand path, but you're still back in religion because you still can't get past the fact that you are a person who can become a god over self, mastering yourself, taking responsibility and accountability. We ain't spooking this shit out. We ain't saying that you're going to turn a wooden stick into a serpent. We ain't saying that you're going to say, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. We ain't saying none of that spooky shit. Simply to be a god is a master over self, taking responsibility, accountability. And yes, you do have the power to manipulate the forces of nature to manifest a new reality, only if you break the chains that bind your mind. So why we're talking about the serpent power? Because that is one of the powers that have been systematically used to suppress you from activating. They don't
Yeah.
want you to truly activate that serpent power within you.
That's
No.
why the serpent. That's why the
But
serpent became the devil.
mhm,
The serpent became the devil. The serpent is evil. You know, the serpent is the reason why humanity fell, according to them.
exactly. But
And
yet,
even in the Arthurian mythos or in that part of the world, it's always about dragon slaying.
yep,
You know, they want to kill the dragon. You got to kill it.
Yeah.
always.
Every time a dragon shows up, let's go get together, get our crab suits on, and go kill this motherfucker.
Yeah. And what's crazy is what in the book of Revelation talks about the dragon and his
Yeah.
host. Yeah, see, this is what we got to get to this nitty-gritty stuff because unfortunately, I've noticed when people go into the cliff off, for example, they do hold on to religious mindset, religious traditions when they work with these forces that rule certain cliff off, certain shells, certain gateways. They still do worship them. And this can lead to further stagnation because let's just be real. Let's just cut to the chase here. When you really cut that bullshit out, you will understand something. A lot of these so-called demons, dark gods, whatever you want to call them, don't really like humans like that either. Okay? They tolerate us. But if they do work with you, there's two reasons they're working with you. One, let's use the good shit first. One, because you can be them, like them. You have the power and possess the mindset to be that. Or two, you just a punk bitch to them. Sorry. You just a servant to them. And you somebody they can
Yeah.
feed off of. They can feed you all kinds of nonsense. And you'll believe everything because you still have a religious mindset. You still have religious tradition trapped within your mind. So when you go working this path, you're still trying to worship and not be worshipped. Oh, what? Ravana, what did you say? I should be worshipped? Let me explain something to y'all real quick, and I'm gonna let these brothers go on and add on because I know they're gonna say something about this too. Yes, you should be worshipped. Now that may sound crazy, spooky, but when you have a mortal mind, of course it would. If you have an immortal mind, you understand the mind of the human is the mind of a worshiping mind. By nature, they like to worship. Why do you think they idolize athletes, singers, so on and so forth? It's a form of worship
It
because
is.
we as humans unfortunately have a DNA that makes us want to worship. So guess what? Those who figure it out raise themselves up to another level, and they feed off of all your worship, all your prayers, all your yelling and screaming in the audience. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sing it, whatever, right? All the people who dressed up like Mike, wanted to dance like Mike, you know what I'm saying? Wanted to wear the glove like Mike, have the leather jacket like Mike, even bleach their skin like Mike. All to look like somebody but yourself. That's not
They
a
thought
form of worship.
they
I
thought it was
don't
gonna
know
give them
what
some special
is.
powers.
Exactly. So when we look at this, your serpent power is purposely suppressed because when that serpent awakens and begins its journey up your spine and the release of emotions, the release of trap, suppressed, blocked energy, thoughts, so on and so forth, start to flood your mind. And if you have the power to harness that and keep bringing that to its highest potential, they know that you will transform your consciousness. You will transform everything else after that. So I have to keep you in a state of constant worship. I have to keep you in a state of wanting to beg and pray for something. Left-hand pathers, yes, a lot of us still beg and pray for things. No, I don't. Yes, you do. When you're over there and you're evoking or invoking, I don't evoke a lot of times. I invoke most of the time because I'm devouring and taking. Okay? That's 99% of the time I'm invoking. But anyways, when you're invoking or evoking, let's just use evoking. You're calling
Please,
forth summoning
please,
or
please,
bringing forth.
please, please,
Yes,
Samael. Can I get a job, Samael? Please.
exactly. That's exactly what you're doing. Hail Samael. Hail, O poisoned one of God. Hail, come forth and give me a blessing. This is how y'all sound. I mean, it is ridiculous.
If I
And
closed
then
my eyes, I thought I was back at the Baptist church I was a member of as a kid.
exactly. But this is how some of these people on this path do. Hail.
Please call it my. Please call
Yeah.
it my. Let my yoni be wetter than it was
Yeah.
ever.
Wow.
Exactly. This is what they do. Okay, some of these people are still in that mindset. How can you ever truly become a god if you're still asking, begging, and pleading? Yeah, but you think it's different because the left hand path, I'm so dark, I'm so goth, I have black fingernails. Ooh, motherfucker, that's a costume. All right, that's just a costume. Let's keep it
Exactly.
real. That is not real. You look good, you play the part, but you ain't living the part. Because you know, this
Exactly.
if you really want to see a lot of the YouTubers and teachers and so on and so forth who claim left hand path, if you really want to see if they're living this path like fully, look at the results of their life. Okay.
Facts.
Are they still in the same financial situation? Are you still married, even though you want to fuck 15 people? And if you're not able to be honest with your partner and doing it behind their back, you doing the same shit you did in Christian church.
Yeah.
Let's be real. I
Which
know someone, listen to this nonsense. I know someone who wants this guy to buy her things, do things for her, and all this. But when he's not around, she's messing around with the white pastor at church. She's a sister. She messing around with
God dang.
the white old pastor at church.
Oh man.
And y'all, you don't understand. What is the purpose of being on this path if you're going to do the same fuckery you did in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism? That's the shit they do in religion because you feel you have to be secretive. You feel you have to tiptoe. This path is supposed to break you from morality, human morality as we know it, conditioned in this mindset where you're able to be open and honest with your partner, whether they agree with it, accept it or not. At least you've given them the option if they want to stick around or not.
You're supposed to be living your life to the fullest, without limitation.
That's my point. So how are you still doing the fuckery and sneaking around, but want to claim left-hand path when this path is supposed to break you free from the very things you did before this?
That's proof that one, the work was ineffective or they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, yes, sometimes it goes in levels and layers, but that means that you got to get back in the lab if something's going on. If something's happening, then you need to be working, trying to figure out what it is that's happening, what's causing it, and bring the shift and change. But, some people don't want to do that. It's the same with the concept of Kundalini. Because I mean, like with Gopi Krishna, it wasn't pretty because it isn't. Exactly. When that energy is coming up the spine, it's burning shit. And that stuff is being released. And it's going to presence itself in your life. And some it's not pretty. It's ugly. And unfortunately, the new age movement, I have to blame them for this, for making this sound so sexy and pretty. You got some chick in tight yoga pants and whatnot, making it look so damn good. And she has not had the experience herself. Because she couldn't have. Because if she did, she'd be able to tell you, like, listen, all of my bullshit came out and danced.
Yeah.
So the only thing she's going to tell you is something she read in the book as well, too.
Exactly.
And people don't realize when that serpent rises, when that Apep, that's what the ancient, Egyptians called it Apep, the serpent of chaos. When that serpent of chaos started to rise and it started hitting your psychological centers,
yeah.
All that stuff that you've been hiding, all that stuff that you got suppressed and repressed, and you've been hiding, all that stuff is coming up. That serpent is going to destroy all of that condition. And now either you are going to do the work and synchronize, with that divine serpent power, or you're going to be consumed by it.
Facts. The serpent has a dual nature, and my brother Sarek Moose, who barely I could see, brother. You need some light in that car. You look like you about to rob somebody.
Negro Ninja.
Got the pistol on the seat, brother. No,
that's correct. That's correct, though. The serpent has the dual nature. Okay, that nature is either to devour you or to awaken you. And that's just a fact. Okay, so which one is it? Which one are you going to do? Because the more you bullshit yourself, and the more you're saying I'm left-hand path, and the more you're saying I'm so spiritual and so knowledgeable and so intelligent, and look at me, I'm a master teacher and all that shit, but you ain't got a pot to piss in, the more that shit devours you over time. We done seen this with our own eyes. Okay? All three of us have seen this stuff with our own eyes. We've seen people, okay, on YouTube. As a matter of fact, I had some people on these classes with me before. And next thing you know, they got devoured by their very own ignorance, okay? Their very own arrogance. And that serpent devoured them where they're out in the street, butt naked, daring the world to do something to them because they now think they are a god incarnate. So now you out there, and when the cops come, you want to act like you ain't doing something wrong. Bro, no one wants to see your pee-pee in the street. Okay? You got a wife and kids. What the effing hell are you out in the street butt naked? This happens because the serpent's dual nature, it can awaken you or it can devour you. It can awaken you or it could devour you. And this is what we have to really understand about the serpent power. It is not a sweet journey. It is not a nice journey. It is a smack you up journey. Okay, the serpent power itself is tenfold more powerful than we can imagine. So let's deal with that for a second. They tell you that there's dual serpents inside of us, but there's one serpent mainly that rises, another one that's waiting for the other to come home, so to speak. The serpent that is at the root chakra, right, is related to Kali, Shakti, so on and so forth. That's the feminine energy within the serpent power. And the serpent power, when it rises and it does the intertwining, okay, it's an exchange of masculine and feminine energy until it merges back home with the Shiva consciousness, which is supposed to take place in your pineal gland. Supposed to take place. Again, the problem with this journey is that if you have not done some type of shadow work, if you have not done some type of work to face your issues, traumas, programming, so on and so forth. And let me explain something to you. A lot of us know what our trauma is. A lot of us know what our pain is, our issues are, but what a lot of us don't realize, that's we can accept that. And we could do work on that, yes. But the part that is really hard to match and overcome many a times in shadow work is your programming.
Yeah.
Your programming has a lot to do with your journey. And let me explain why, and then I'll let you interact, brother. The reason why is because your journey, your programming is 95% based upon observable behavior, observation, seeing your mama, your daddy, your uncles, your aunts, your grannies, your so on and so forth, how they behave in certain situations. You watch this and it becomes a program in your mind. When you get to of a certain age or a certain social interaction or a certain situation, you tend to a lot of times react just like your dad, your mom, your uncle, your granny, or whatever you observe. And why I say the programming is hard, sometimes more difficult than the trauma and pain, is because we don't even see or realize that we're behaving just like our parents did or just like our uncle did. We don't see it. A lot of times we're blind to it until someone alerts you to that fact. So when we really start to understand that your programming has a lot to do with your spiritual evolution, if you can't break free from the programming, then every time you get to a certain situation, you're going to repeat the behavior again. You're going to interact in that situation the same way you have over and over. The problem with that is there's no progression. There's no evolution. You're stuck on stupid, literally, because you keep repeating the same behavioral pattern. That is sometimes harder than saying, you know what? When I was young, I was molested. This is what happened. This is what went, blah, blah. And if you really sit and meditate on that and do the shadow work and do the rituals on that, you can start understanding how it happened, when it happened, so on and so forth, and how it's affected you today. You can see a clear progression to how your behavior is today. The problem is this. If you don't deal with that, right, the program part, then forevermore, you'll always stay in that loop. You'll stay in the cyclic loop of program behavior. So, for example, if someone was to call you out on your bullshit and say, yo, I know you on social media doing some fuckery and doing some fuckery with women and DMing some fuckery, right? And you get angry because of that, you ain't ready. Exactly. I'm going to tell you, you ain't ready. Why I know that? Because if you're ready, you accept it. You know what? I have a behavioral program issue that I think that's normal behavior or that should be acceptable behavior. And then I'll use Satanism or I'll use some aspect of left-hand path to try and justify my bullshit behavior.
Yeah, you brother, hear this I'm now? Dark. I'm dark, brother. I'm dark.
Yeah, I'm a melanated guy, so I can do what I do what I want, say what I want on DMs to people, and like there's no repercussion or no consequence for that. Yes, there is. You just may not see that shit coming, but it's coming. You gotta understand. Deal with your shit causes a transformation. Okay? And you will not stay within the loop of that program behavior, and you'll notice the change because you no longer will feel like you have to slide into someone's DM or slide into someone's text with some not fuckery or so on and so forth. You won't even bother doing any of that. You won't even worry about none of that because your whole journey is focused inward on myself. And why do I
Facts.
do this? Why do I behave like this? Why do I do that? If you can't ask yourself those questions, the fuck you doing here? Why are you on this path? Why the fuck are you here? Why are you even fucking here? And for this nigga down here who's talking about karma, nigga, we don't believe in karma on this path.
Absolutely not. You're walking the
So I don't know what
wrong
the fuck
place.
is you talking about, son. It's called cause and effect. Cause and effect. If I walk up to you and smack the shit out of you, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna smack the shit out of me. So what the fuck is you talking about? Karma. Karma is a religious mind, is a religious philosophy created to keep people within a slave mind, so they're always behaving in a certain pattern, a certain way.
You gotta
What we're
behave
talking
good, brother.
about here is what is your destructive behavioral patterns that you are not addressing that are going to lead to repercussions that may lead you to a house of horrors.
See,
That's what we're talking about.
that is the biggest thing that happens because you got folk that think they're further down the road than they actually are and
Yeah,
have not dealt with a lot of shit. You know,
facts.
there's a bunch of crazy shit I see posted on. I'm just like, really, dude?
Yeah,
Um, clean it up.
you understand? So the problem is when individuals feel like they're so profound, so knowledgeable because they read 50 books, but never did the work,
Nope.
they start typing nonsense like that. You understand what I'm saying? They start typing nonsense like that, and then they think like they're right in their reasoning and have no reasoning themselves. You understand? So
I
the
could, I
real
could, I could,
reality
t-
is,
I could tell you, the books compare nothing to what you get when you're actually deep into your own work. What you receive, from within. The books don't even compare, man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's like amateur entrance information. But when you actually doing the work and you're destroying these conditions that's been placed in your mind since you were born, it's going to take you to a whole nother level of understanding of yourself.
yeah,
That book,
exactly.
you will realize that book knowledge ain't worth a damn in most cases.
No,
Yeah,
because that's somebody else's experience. You got to
exactly.
get
Exactly.
your own gnosis. I mean, yeah, a book is a decent can be a decent template to get you started and maybe looking down the rabbit hole, but your own experiences are what's going to really produce something. I mean, I know lots of people who've read lots of books and can regurgitate. So can monkeys and parrots.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it goes back to that one situation where you had the guy Herodotus. He travels to Egypt to join the mystery school, and he keeps getting his application denied. And and then basically, the third time he comes for an application from the Egyptian priest, the Egyptian priest explains to him. He said, "Here we don't care about knowledge. We only care about experience. Knowledge doesn't mean anything to us."
That's facts. Now let me address here. You can't take money with you when you die. You can't, but you need money here to survive. So that puts that out to rest. And let me explain why. For those who make excuses of why they're broke, haven't elevated financially, you're not reflecting your spiritual journey. If in fact you're on a true spiritual journey, your spiritual journey should manifest abundance on the physical.
That's facts.
If it's not manifesting abundance on the physical, you might be on the wrong journey, or might need to find something that can assist you in your spirit reflecting in the physical. So when people start saying things like you can't take money when you die, I'm not dead yet. So why the fuck am I worried about taking money with me when I die? I'm alive now. And as long as I'm alive now, you
I need money.
reflect some abundance. You should reflect some financial success on a level. Those arguments are like mystics speaking of spiritual poverty is being rich. And I went that path when I was a Sufi and everything else. And that is nonsense when you get down the line, because you start to realize, okay, so while the world around me revolves and I'm here thinking, I can't take money with me, so I die. So what does that mean? I bend over and get fucked now so I can just be fucking poor, broke, and abused mentally, used by the system and everything else? Or do you create your own empire while you're alive? Do you create your own existence while you're alive? Do you fight for what you want and take what you need?
Facts.
Or do you just make excuses and keep living in this spiritual loop, spiritual bypassing, as if finances are not important? Yes, they very are so much important.
That's
No,
why
you
you clear
brother.
out the mindsets and whatnot that you have around money. A lot of us are brought up with really fucked up mindsets. Money doesn't grow on trees, or we're not, or depending on your ethnicity, we're not supposed to be like that, or whatever the case may be. You know, it's clearing that stuff out, clearing out those different types of things like that, or that you feel like you're threatened or whatnot. Like I'm seeing these posts here. Could we set this guy in a corner somewhere?
Oh, I'm about to block his ass. First of all, let me just set this guy straight. I do know who you are. Second of all, I will destroy you in every which way you could think about, brother. So keep that nonsense up and you'll find out, because I know who you are and I'll come to you, bro. Just letting you know I'm not the one to play this soft game with you. I will annihilate you in every level, brother. So with that, let's put this pussy to rest.
Welcome to the left-hand path.
Yeah.
and this see this is the thing, people don't realize. You talk about working with, say, Set, for example. Set represents dominion. Set represents power. You know what I mean? When you truly tapping into that Set consciousness, you out here in this world, you trying to build your own empire. You trying to experience every pleasure that life has to offer. And you want to, like I said, truly experience everything this world has to offer, because you're going to make it happen. That's like the truly a Set mentality. Set didn't come here to play the go along, get along game.
No.
Set came here to create his own empire.
Yeah.
If you want to be like I said, like this, if you want to be a slave and you just want to go along with what most people doing, then yeah, the left hand path really not for you.
No.
This is for people who want to build their own heaven on earth.
This is also a predatory path too. So
Exactly.
I don't know what that dude was talking about.
Well, here's the thing though, and I'm gonna share it for the viewers who want to know. This individual, dark masculine karmic, okay? This individual actually has been sliding in females' DMs, showing his pee-pee, so on and so forth.
Oh man, he's a weirdo,
huh?
Yeah. And the problem with this guy, he's probably like 2021. He swears he's so advanced. He swears he's so knowledgeable. He's confused about a lot of things. You could tell he's never really done work. You understand? He thinks he's the flyest because he knows a little bit of kickboxing, Muay Thai, so on and so forth, as if he underestimates like other people don't know stuff like that. Anyway, the point is,
he young as hell. He just looking to crash out somewhere.
Got his helmet on and everything.
So the point is, the reason why I put him out of the room is because I'm not going to tolerate when I know these people and then they come with their arrogance, right? They come with their arrogance. They want to like try to box you like keyboard warriors do, try to box you.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand who he's dealing with. I'm not the type to talk. I'm not the type to deal with that. I'm gonna let you talk your little talk. But once it gets to a point that you start getting beside yourself, bye-bye. And two, you best believe, bro, I do know who this dude is. And when I catch him, hey, he better be ready physically if he wants to go there. Because I'm not playing. People think that people on the left-hand path, we're just like, and we're gonna meditate. Nah, son.
Nah.
We are warriors by nature, not just spiritual warriors. We're warriors by nature.
Yep.
So we're not gonna tolerate the caca just because you think you know something. You know what I'm saying? I'll let you speak and say this, but when you start getting to the point you're disrespectful, and you start getting to the point where I know you're disrespectful to people I know, nah, I'm not gonna tolerate that. So for all those who know, yeah, that's why that happened. And I guarantee you this dude's gonna try to hit me up on Instagram, and I'm gonna smash him there too, and then get rid of his ass there too. All right.
Yeah, because all his triggers are coming out in his little post and whatnot. I'm just like, dude, really? Could you go have a breakdown somewhere else?
Yeah, he got triggered. That's how you see when people are get triggered. Why? Because they see what we're talking about. We're breaking stuff down, and they get triggered because they feel like it's projected to them.
I think you mentioned finances, and I think that's what set him off.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, hell, I'm not Donald Trump or anything, but geez.
Exactly.
Oh, as you take care of your business, you know, he's still living in his mama's basement, so that's why.
No, I know for a fact I know this dude is. Okay. Anyway, so let me just say this. So this is the reason why he was put out the room. All right. And I guess he got triggered and, you know, he got upset, so on and so forth. I don't really give two shits. I'm here for the people who want to discuss and build and shit like that, not people who want to come in here and rip off like there's some spiritual guru. Please get to stepping. All right. Because we're all gurus in here when we master ourselves. So what's the difference? You understand? So the point is,
I think, brother. I think it's because you're not wearing an ankh on your hat, brother. I think that's why.
Yeah, that or I'm not levitating right now.
Oh yes, I'm saying Tahuti El Rabe.
kind of people show up. The people that usually come to this class are here because we're building to learn and grow. So Serpent Power, as you see, the Serpent Power got activated tonight. Okay. That shit got activated tonight. Okay. So let's talk about other ways the Serpent Power gets activated. I'm gonna use different cultures and examples, and I'm gonna let these brothers also give other examples. Africa. I'm gonna use Africa. I'm gonna start there. We're gonna go back to the motherland, right? Let's go to Africa. Oh, hold on. I just got an Instagram text. Let me see if that's this.
Live in living color, folks.
Yeah, told you.
Oh my God, really?
Man, that dude is so strange.
I told you I know these fools, bro.
He's strange, man.
Bro.
He's a strange one. He's a strange one. I'm
gonna block his ass because I ain't got time to deal with little kids who want to play games, talking about where's your gym? You in Orlando, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, his little pussy ass ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's up to I told you, nigga. I don't know. I told you now. So this fool, I told you I know these fools. I've been doing this for years, man. I've been used to this. Like, what gym do I go to? Really, you think I'm stupid enough to tell you that? Like, what gym I go to? Bro, just drop your Addy. If you got that problem, drop your Addy. We can meet up. What's the problem? Oh, my pride. I need to go meet you at your gym so I can fight you. Anyways, whatever. So, Africa. Let's get back to Africa, right? In Africa, how was the Kundalini activated? Okay, because what we have to understand is it's not all one way to activate your Kundalini. See, we've been flooded with a lot of Eastern philosophy, and yes, a lot of it is good and powerful, but the only way to do it is not pranayama, breathing exercises, kundalini meditations, kundalini yoga, so on and so forth. In Africa, there was a system for that. And the system was the drums.
Mm-hmm.
The drums and the movement
And the
of the
dance.
body to the rhythm of the drums. What do you think is happening, my brothers? This is for the brothers now in the room. What do you think is happening when the drums are being hit in a rhythmic form, and the dancers are moving, and the drum is hitting what area of their body? Okay, it's hitting the root chakra area, the hip area.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is why a lot of times you will see that in African rituals, especially the drumming rituals, you will see the fast shaking of hips. Okay, this goes for African, African Caribbean, African Latinos, whatever the heck you want to call it, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, some of y'all in denial, but anyway, this is another story. So, you know what I'm saying? The music itself, okay? The dances that have evolved from there, let's say salsa dance, right? To salsa music, it's a lot of hip movement, okay? When we look at bomba of Puerto Rico, which is the African
I was just about to say
tango dance
bomba.
of Puerto Rico, you'll see a lot of hip movement, okay? Fast feet movement and hip movement. When you look at some of the voodoo dances that are done for certain Loa, you will see
Dambala.
fast hip movements a lot of times, okay? You will notice that the longer the rhythm is prolonged, the more trance state people go into as they're dancing. And this then becomes a frenzy of energy that's being shared with the room. And this is what they call being mounted or ridden by a spirit. Because you opened up spiritually. You opened up spiritually to the point that you were able to harness spiritual energy that is a lot different vibration of yours. So that's how the Kundalini was.
I can attest to that just recently. Like I'll tell you, when you doing this shadow work, it makes you so sensitive. I went to this little bembe thing recently, and man, when I tell you, when they was hitting those drums, man, you could just feel the energy inside of you just going crazy. I had to step out of there, man, because I was like, that shadow work, man, it makes you really sensitive to those energies. It really does. That's no lie.
Yep, I've been to a neo-pagan gathering, and there were these people, they call themselves American Voodoo, and they were doing a big ritual for the night's ritual. It was like a 5-day event, and they drew the veves out on the ground and all that, and had people come dance over them. And as they were dancing, they were drumming. I mean, just about everybody was on the ground. They had me on possession duty to make sure people were okay.
Yeah.
Yep. People were freaked out though, because that was something a lot of them had never experienced, was that connecting the rhythm along with the geometry of the veve, and then the activation of that opening up basically a portal into the camp space. It was a lot for people to handle. Psychologically, I think it really kind of bugged a lot of them out.
Yeah, exactly. So these are examples from Africa. So the point I bring up is, don't think that the only way to awaken your Kundalini is by meditating, doing Kundalini yoga, pranayama, so on and so forth. No, in Africa, the Caribbean, South America, we've had ways for thousands of years to also raise our Kundalini. We just didn't call it Kundalini. That's the only difference. But that serpent energy was always understood in Africa. For example,
It's called different things. Sometimes some people call it Dambala,
yeah,
Awedo.
and the voodoo,
Yeah.
right? And voodoo, we're talking about the Loa, there's Dambala.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dambala and Aida Widow, there's like they
Exactly.
represent DNA.
They represent the DNA helix, the intertwining of the male, masculine, feminine, or the DNA 23 chromosomes, male and female. Those are the ways we did it in Africa. And we did it in the Caribbean and South America and Central America and so on and so forth. These are the ways that we've done this for thousands of years. So never feel like if you're a melanated person coming the left-hand path that this doesn't vibe with me. This is not the same. That's because you might be programmed to only seek knowledge within melanated places, but knowledge is vast and profound and found in many places, whether we realize it or not. That's what we do on this path here. We look into everything. And when we look into everything, we can take from here, there, and create your own working system within the left-hand path. What works for you within this path? Okay? Because a lot of times people, I know this for a fact, some of our people come and go on the left-hand path because they feel they can't find themselves here. Oh, yes, you're just not looking.
Yeah.
Right? We're here and we have hundreds of videos, classes, and Patreon class, so on and so forth, where we're doing things for our people, where we're trying to awaken our people to their divinity, true divinity, not some conscious caca crap that they're feeding you and not do anything about it. Okay? Not some religious nonsense. Your true divinity. Okay? The divinity that you possess and have always possessed, and you are the caretaker and cultivator of the serpent energy. Before I take questions, let me also
I was
take.
gonna say this. You
Yeah,
know, one of the reasons why I think one of the reasons why people feel like that when they come across it is because that's still another form of conditioning that they have to get past. It's still a form of conditioning, that they still have to work through to be able to appreciate and understand what they're really dealing with.
yeah, that's exactly correct. Now, let's also understand something else about the serpent. We're adults here, correct?
Well, we hope.
Okay.
If not, we're in
I'm
trouble
just making
already.
sure now. Making sure, damn it. There's another way to awaken the serpent power. And
Yep.
that's when the serpent crawls into the garden.
Wow, really?
Yes. I hope you all understand what I'm saying. I'm just right now using coded language because we did have a kindergarten in here earlier, or so it appeared. So they acted like they were an adult but behaved like a child. But anyways, yes, the the serpent crawls into the Garden of Eden. Okay? AKA, for those in the back of the bus, sex magic, sex power. Okay? The man has always historically been related to the serpent as well. Okay? He's been related to the serpent staff, so on and so forth. And when the serpent does crawl into the garden, the vagina, in the act of intercourse, the Kundalini does awaken. And if done rhythmically, passionately, and, you know, connecting between the partners, there can be a true rising of the Kundalini.
Mm-hmm.
This is the purpose of sex magic, because when that energy rises is when your intentions are uttered. Okay, usually you say it out loud, so on and so forth. Now it's very weird if you try to do that. I'm just being real. I've done sex magic before, and you think everything is, you just like into the moment, you like, passionate, you feeling it. And then when you get to the moment of orgasm or release, the Kundalini is high, so on and so forth. Your partner all of a sudden says, I want a new Audi. What? Yo, you mean we did this shit for you to ask for a fucking Audi? It can be weird. It will throw you off because you're like, you high up here, and then they asking for some shit, and you're like, what the fuck was this, yo? Do you understand? But I'm saying this because that's another way that the Kundalini or the serpent power can be utilized. The problem is you have to have someone who's linked with you mentally. Yep. Linked with you mentally. I'm not going to say spiritually because y'all don't always have to be on the same path, but mentally you're linked. Okay. And when that link, that connection becomes strong and you go to the level of orgasm, the climax, yes, if you utter certain things, they will manifest because the power of sex is one of the most powerful forces on the planet Earth.
That's yeah, also to make magical children that way too.
Exactly.
Is usually a moment or a time of where there is no sexual release, whether solo or with each other for a moment while each performs rituals, gathering current, doing different rituals, gathering different types of current and whatnot. And then when the time comes to release, you get together and you're channeling all of that into creating this child. So this kid's getting an evolutionary burst from the gate. So you're basically you are creating your own little godling, so to speak.
Yeah. So that is the other way, right? So we're speaking about different ways. There's also in ancient Kemet, they spoke about the Oramus or the liquid gold.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're ready for this, but whatever. We're gonna say it, right?
Give it.
There's the monoatomic gold, right? Which is like a powder. It's powdered down from gold and different elements, colloidal, silver, so on and so forth, right? Certain metals, certain minerals, so on and so forth. But there is a different how should I say this? Magical cream
Ambrosia.
that is the ambrosia that is utilized by the male and female, all right, that is from the serpent and the garden. And these elixirs also have been known to raise the kundalini and alter the state of consciousness. Now, the problem is in today's world, you have to be aware of the partner. If they're just not doing anything spiritually, or they just, don't take care of their body, so on and so forth, to extract that from that individual becomes very limited, a limited opportunity. But if they do some spiritual work, they try to, they try to be healthy, they exercise, so on and so forth, the energy that you may extract from that gold may be more profound. So keep that in mind. But this the serpent power has to be utilized for you in your journey, some way, somehow. Whether it's the Kundalini yoga, whether it's through African dance or any other kind of dance that focuses on the hip area, root chakra, navel area. Whether it's music in itself can also do that. There's certain styles of music out there, not trap music, goddamn. I'm a hater, goddamn it. That's right. Anyways, so there's certain styles of music out there that can also create a altered state of consciousness. Okay. So that there's different ways, but why we bring this up tonight is because we're trying to expand some of the discussions we have, some of the topics we bring up, and just expand to other things that we don't commonly speak about in the left-hand path. You'll hear certain things here and there, like Asenath Mason wrote Rituals of Pleasure, which I suggest some of y'all get the book if you are seeking that journey. But we don't really.
I ain't gonna lie. I would love to see what Never mind.
Brother,
I was gonna say something about
hold
her.
that thought for another
I
day.
like her, brother.
Yeah, hold that thought for another day, bro. We ain't trying to have
Oh, he's taking a trip to Poland.
we ain't trying to have that kind of episode here tonight, brother. Anyways, so just saying. So you have to be aware of these things in your journey, because I think sometimes when we do left hand path work, we just concentrate so much on just ritual, ritual, ritual. But there's all kinds of work, man. Like, for example, some of y'all could really benefit from taking elixirs, sacred elixirs, ambrosia, like we just spoke about. Some of y'all might benefit from that, especially some of the individuals, like when you do rituals and meditation and you still don't feel like you're connecting, you might need a little boost. I'm not talking about psychedelics, although some of y'all have already done that. That's your personal business. I'm talking about natural shit. Well, some mushrooms, mushrooms are natural too, but some of that shit, I don't know. Nowadays, everything seems to be synthesized, so who knows? But anyways, but natural things, ancient things that people have done, right? That take you on this journey. For example, the shamans, however you want to pronounce it, did this as well. In South America, the ayahuasca, right? Ayahuasca was used, which I don't recommend for everybody. Some of y'all pussies. I'm just being real. All right. The ayahuasca is not for the weak at heart. You're going to take it, you're going to get sick for a while, vomit, blah, 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 blah. If you can't stand vomiting for an hour, you might not want to take that journey. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay. We're gonna get to these questions in a minute, y'all. So just hold tight. So yeah, so there's ayahuasca, there's things like that. But just realize that the serpent power is all around us. And when you ask, okay, well, is it used on a left-hand path? It's always been used on a left-hand path. One of the origins, one of the locations, the origins of the left-hand path, when people trace it back, is India. Okay. But that's always commonly known. But just in case you don't know, it's India. The left-hand path in itself comes from Valma Marga, which is from Tantra. It's the left-hand path of Tantra. There's a left-hand path and there's the white path or the right-hand path of Tantra. The Valma Marga is more the red path, sometimes called the black path, but it's the red path. The difference between the two is their philosophy. On the left-hand path, yes, they do believe in engaging in sexual intercourse at certain prescribed times. They do. Then they do a lot of other shit that just, even to me is extreme as fuck. All right. I don't know if I'm ready to meditate on a corpse, though.
Demogorgon, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know if I'm ready to meditate on a corpse. It's just not me.
That stuff is just extreme, man.
Yeah,
It's extreme.
you know what I'm saying? And we kind of westernized it. I kind of like my Western mind a little bit. I'm like, son, I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, because the Baba you're talking about on like YouTube, he's got a whole garden with no fucks given.
Yeah.
He videotapes all that shit, even them sacrificing goats and stuff to Kali. I mean, right there on YouTube, and I'm like, God damn, you don't get taken down. And then there's a picture of him. I'm like watching it. I'm going, is that a body he's sitting on? Yeah, it's a dead person he's sitting on.
Exactly.
And I'd see pictures of him on Facebook and whatnot. Like during the pandemic, everybody's wearing a mask. Him and his buddy are just on the plane. I don't know where they're going. Probably no luggage, no mask or nothing on.
Yeah, there's so that path of the left-hand path can be very extreme for what we're speaking about here. But that is one of the origin places. The other origin place is ancient Kemet, particularly with Set or Satuk. Okay. That with the isolated consciousness, and there's certain other various aspects in ancient Kemet that also was very left-hand paths. For example, the pharaoh Unas is very vampiric in the ritual of feeding of the gods that he undertook. So you can find this, and these are the origins of a lot of these places. So don't ever forget that when you're coming to the left-hand path, and if you're melanated and you say, well, I can't find myself in here. Yes, you can. You just ain't looking hard enough. Okay. just as much yours as anybody else's. It's just, what do you intend to do once you're here? Okay, what do you tend to do once you're here, and how do you plan to master yourself on this journey is that counts. We're just giving you guys different examples of why is my shit echoing you?
I don't know. It sounds like a Cthulhu is coming through or something.
Hold on. Hold on.
Like, who's calling the elder gods?
Okay. That ain't me. Y'all mute your phone.
Let me see.
Computers and
Oh,
phone real quick.
Let me see.
Yeah, see, that ain't me.
Yep, it's not mine.
Yep, it's him, Mr. Cirque Moose over there, the one who keeps grinning. He has some serpent raising to do this evening. Has a serpent ritual to enact this evening. Anyways, so let me go through some of these questions here now.
I want to say one more thing just before you go there. I just want to say something that I think is important, especially when you're talking about tapping into serpent energy or just anything, any type of work you're dealing with on a left hand path. I would suggest you do mystical practices as far as meditation. That's going to enhance your work greatly. You know, there's just something about that practice that when you get on this side of this side of the work, it makes things so much easier. you know, that's just something I just wanted to add in there.
No, that's a fact, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I think when people have a misunderstanding of the left hand path, they think it's just. I know why, and well, I'll get to that in a second. But when they think of left hand path, they think of Satanism, debauchery, excessive lust, indulgence, so on and so forth. That all has a purpose. That does. But they forget that there's real work done here besides just what you commonly learn or hear about the left-hand path, because unfortunately left-hand path is always associated with Satanists, and that's the first thing people think about when they hear left-hand path. Wrong. There's a lot of different areas of left-hand path, but a lot of different traditions, lack of a better word. But yes, on this path, especially like my brother said, on this path, meditation is more so important here than other paths I've been on. And I'm gonna give you an example why. When you're dealing and working through shadow work, for example, and you're trying to raise your, figure out how your programmings control you, your traumas or certain things like that. The more you utilize meditation in that respect, the more sometimes things are revealed to you, the more deeper you go into your subconscious mind to open up. And that is very necessary in this journey. Because if you're not able to do that, then sometimes you'll feel like you're stagnated because you're not going deeper within yourself to pull out or retrieve certain of the things that are blocking your progression or, slowing down your evolution spiritually. So meditation is of the utmost importance. Do not get it twisted. Mm-hmm. Actually, in my perspective, I'm gonna be real with you. In my perspective, people actually meditate more on this path than they ever do on the right-hand path. Because the right-hand path is full of a lot of religious philosophy, doctrines, and beliefs where they think they just got to pray their ass away. Here, we take a lot of the psychic, spiritual development and work as something very serious to focus on and develop in your journey. Because how are you able to tap into the inferno, let's say, if you can't get past your conscious mind that is stuck on the physical plane or the plane of the physical form that we know? How are you able to get to the astral realm? Because you can't always dream this. You can't always do it in sleep. Sometimes you have to be able to travel to the astral realm while in a state of meditation.
That is
Okay.
why that's very important for me too. Because one, if I do a ritual where I'm supposed to interact with some entity or whatever, I'm going to do it there in ritual. Because when I go to bed to go to sleep, I want to do just that, sleep. I don't want people coming and talking to me. I don't want to be, flipped up and disturbed. I want to sleep. So that's just my selfish way of reasoning behind that. So that therefore I use meditation to assist me in having that kind of interaction beforehand.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's
So
like how can you sense the energies of whatever you're working if, like I said, if you don't have that experience, that
Mhm.
discipline, you know what I mean? How can you pick it up? You know what I mean?
yeah,
You know, you gotta have some type of sensitivity. You gotta have some type of
Mhm.
sensitivity.
that's a fact, brother. All right. So let me go up and start taking some of these questions and comments here. Uh Avernell, greetings, sister. Um Movies like Avatar and How to Train Your Dragon, so on and so forth, those movies kind of show examples of what we're speaking about this evening and the importance of tapping into the serpent power. The serpent power is not just found in humans. The serpent power is found on this planet.
Mhm.
This earth in itself has serpent power. Okay. Remember the dragon, Tiamat. This was her home. They said she dwelled in the waters. This was a watery planet. It's always been a watery planet. She dwelled in the oceans in the water. Okay. This also brings to mind and something me and my brother Sirach Moose, shit, fucking up his shit. But there's something that me and him talked about the other day. This primordial chaotic waters is also found in ancient Kemet. And the Ogdoads, also known as Chaminu, which are Nun and Nunet, Hen, He, Het, Kek and Kiket, Amun and Amunet. Oh, did I say that too fast for y'all? Too bad. Rewind and watch it. But anyway,
I got it.
so these are known as the 8 reptilian beings. They're
Mhm.
depicted as frogs and different forms of serpents, so on and so forth. But they're known as the beings who evolved from the primordial chaotic waters. All right. In serpent form, toad form, so on and so forth. So this is highly important to understand. This part we're saying here is highly important to understand because there's a connection between the water and the serpent.
Mhm.
Let me say it again. There's a connection between the water and the serpent. So when you understand the connection between the serpent and the water, and don't ask me to give you the answer, y'all. That's lazy. Anyways, when you understand the connection, then you start to understand why we're bringing this up this evening. See, this serpentine energy is related to Tiamat, and in ancient Kemet they had the same story. But that story also symbolic of you going and tapping into your subconscious mind. In ancient Kemet, these 8 serpents or reptilians, known as the Chaminu or Agdoads, were also symbolic of tapping into your subconscious mind, to your unconscious mind. From the unconscious came the subconscious through the 8 serpent beings, which then from there came the primeval hill up from the waters, which then manifested as Atum or Atum Ray of ancient Kemet. From there, it says Atum Ray masturbated or some other freakery.
Oh yeah, yes, I've heard that one.
Yep. He masturbated and, nutted, and there came humans. Also said that he self, how do you call that? Self-fellatio. Self,
Autofellatio.
yeah, autofellatio. He
He took out a rib bone like Marilyn Manson.
yeah.
So
He gave fellatio to himself. Okay.
pleasure, brother.
He gave fellatio to himself, nutted in his mouth, and spit it out. And humans came from there. Oh, y'all thought ancient Kemet was just peace and divine and Ankhs
No, them
and
dudes are
looking
on some
beautiful and
on
Hotep
another
brother,
level.
Hotep sister, Hotep brother. That's what y'all thought?
Man, they don't want to hear that story about Set and Heru, bro.
Nah,
Absolutely not.
nah. So
I hate you, but I love you. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying that there's more to it than meets the eye. So when we look at ancient Kemet, that understanding the Agras, Haminu, is understanding the left-hand path in your subconscious mind. It's understanding that there's 8 pathways that you must go through, masculine and feminine, okay? That you have to tap into your subconscious mind to open up certain gates.
That system is so powerful that even to this day in psychology they have a chart
Yep.
that's of the psyche that represents the 8 points. This
Yep.
is how powerful that stuff was.
Yeah. And the 8-pointed star was utilized to represent the Camino, okay? Represent the Agduaz of the primordial waters. So, in essence, when you understand that, you understand that the serpentine energy, serpentine power is very important on this left-hand path to tap into your subconscious, unconscious, to be able to evolve spiritually and break free from the chains that bind you. So meditation is of the utmost importance, and we will never deny that importance. Okay. From my understanding, the archetypes are nothing but extensions of your own mind. That is correct. According to Carl Jung or Jung, right, which was the psychologist, he mentioned that there's these different archetypes. Matter of fact, he's one of the ones who came up with this understanding. There's these different archetypes that all people fit into. Okay, there's the mother, the father, the professional, the so on and so forth, and all so-called gods and goddesses fit into these same archetypes, but they are nothing more than an extension of your mind, and an understanding that you have is what allows you to either expand beyond their gods or stay stuck in the realm of their gods. You understand? When you really understand the archetypes and what is the significance that Carl Jung was really trying to promote and share with people, is basically understanding the different archetypes that are within you. Mm-hmm. And each one of us takes the role of a, let's say, a captain. We take on the role of a professional. We take on the role of a mother, a father, so on and so forth. These are just archetypes or character types, so to speak, that represent things within our journey. Things that we have to all journey and experience to the journey of what Joseph Campbell called the hero. All cultures, all mythos across the planet have the same story of the hero and the villain. Mm-hmm. All cultures and civilizations have always had this story of the hero and the villain. We on the left-hand path, however, choose to understand the villainous aspect because it is suppressed, it is vilified, and it is made to seem negative. But you cannot be a complete person until you understand the villain within yourself. See, we've been born into a world where we understand the God of ourselves. We understand the light side of things. We understand the positive. We understand what's good, what's that, what's all this. All that's taught through religion and right-hand path, spiritual philosophy, so on and so forth. But what we don't understand is the villainous part of ourselves. Because if you really look at movies and Marvel movies and DC movies and Star Wars and so on and so forth, really pay attention. Really pay attention, because it's always the villain who's kicking the most facts or truth within a movie. But what happens is when he or she kicks too much facts, they got to get rid of them, and they got to reinforce. They got to reinforce that brotherhood, sisterhood, family bond type mentality to erase the individualistic mentality. Because as long as I keep you under the familiar or the community mindset, you're easier to control because you have a collective mind that is all channeled towards one direction. You're easier to control. But if an individual breaks free from that, then you become the problem.
Yep.
You become the problem because you are a threat now. And what's unique about that? What is very unique about that is I'm gonna read this from Osho. Some of y'all know who Osho is. OSHO. Okay, Osho was a guru who was also known as the Rolls Royce pimp. Another story for another day.
Yep.
I'm gonna read this. Okay, it says the real self is dangerous. Dangerous for the established church. Dangerous for the state. Dangerous for the crowd. Dangerous for the tradition. Because once a man knows his real self, he becomes an individual. He no longer belongs to the mob psychology. He will not be superstitious, and he cannot be exploited, and he cannot be led like cattle. He cannot be ordered and commanded. He will live according to his own truth. He will live from his own inwardness. His life will have tremendous beauty, integrity, but that is the fear of society. Okay, let me take other questions. I dropped the mic afterwards. Y'all didn't hear it, but anyways, that's just me dropping the mic. All right, so just like Excalibur is the extension of King Arthur and has to be wielded, if not, it's just paperweight. That's facts. No sword, and let me use Sith as an example, no lightsaber or Jedi. Fuck them Jedi. But anyways, where you're going to use the Sith and the Jedi, no lightsaber is powerful on its own. It's just a tool. It's just a tool that you turn on. It has to be an extension of yourself, extension of your power. And that's the only way that saber can become powerful. Okay? All right. Let me go. Triggered. Every human has some type of sweet tooth, yes? We all do.
Yeah.
Boy, do I have a sweet tooth. Anyways, that's another story. But Gregor Adami says the inferno is outside of the structure of karma, outside of the chain of causation. Yes, the inferno, the subjective, the astral realm, spirit realm, so on and so forth, is no longer within these natural laws. You break free from those natural laws when you evolve and tap into the astral, the spiritual, the mental realm, the infernal realm, so on and so forth. You do evolve and break free from the natural laws. This is why when people tell you, this is where you'll know their level of intellect, their level of knowledge, their level of spirituality. If they tell you, you can't break free, you can't be free from this existence, you can't be free from this universe, they're a goddamn fool. Because they don't understand that this is just one existence out of many. Okay? And we're in the lowest vibrating plane of existence that there is. The physical plane is what we're on. Then comes the plane of force, which is some call the astral realm. Then comes the spiritual plane. Then comes the mental plane, so on and so forth. You have a lot of different planes of existence, some call realms of existence. People battle, and Demetrius said this last time we had class. People battle and brag and talk all this caca that, oh man, I went to the astral realm and I traveled in astral. Bro, that's nothing. You're supposed to get to the astral realm. That's just the next plane up.
You get there by daydreaming.
Yeah. It's just the next plane up. We're supposed to be evolving to the spiritual plane, the mental plane, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to just stay at the astral realm and say, "Oh, I made it. I'm so spiritual now." No, you're not.
No, because
You're
in
still,
Hinduism, you have like what they call them lokas.
yeah.
I mean, you have Shiva Loka, you have Krishna Loka, Kailasa. There's these different realms, these different dimensions. You know, it's not just, oh, we made it to the astral plane. Now we get to sit down and hang out. I'm like, yeah, everybody else is hanging out too because it's just the next plane over. Drug dealers, gangsters, whores, everything else is over there.
Yeah.
Just just what you explain, and why do you think when you go into the mythologies, they explain like, oh, you know, none of the gods could defeat a pet but Set.
Yeah.
Stuff like, because you're talking about different forms of energy, different forms of consciousness.
Mhm.
Gods are all a part of the order of the universe. They're part of nature.
Mm-hmm.
But talking about a pet, you know, which is a force that's pre-creation. It's pre-creation. This existed long before there was any elements.
Yep.
So, you know, that's just a little explanation on that.
Yep. All right. So, um, okay, that's why some intellectuals and college grads have arrogance about themselves, but it's all book knowledge. That's correct. We have a lot of individuals, and like the individual who was here earlier, you can tell that they're very much into book knowledge and have really not done work. Why do I say that? Because they were triggered. They were triggered by things we were saying, more so, pardon me, that I was saying. They were triggered by it, which means they haven't really done any work, because if you've done work, you wouldn't be triggered so easily. You wouldn't be triggered so easily by what I'm saying. Okay? That shows you the level that an individual is on. You shouldn't have to go on a tirade because you're not being heard or paid attention to. This is what people do. First of all, this is our class, not your class, fool, right? And two, you're coming in here for what purpose?
Yeah.
To hear your opinion? Bro, this is not opinions. We have our own experiences. We don't need validation from anybody about our experiences. We don't need you to agree or disagree. But what people don't realize is when you're triggered, don't come in here pushing your caca onto people as if we're supposed to accept that.
What was
Okay?
actually kind of funny about that too, he made mention about master teachers or something. I'm like, I don't think none of us claim to be master teachers. But he
Not
said
one.
something about weight or something another. I'm like, if you ever read autobiography of a yogi, there was a master in there who was a master named Tralanga.
Yep.
Tralanga weighed 300 pounds. And they
Yep.
locked his ass up and he disappeared out of the cell and reappeared on the roof of the jail.
Yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
his weight bothered him none.
nah, not at all. But see, people, this is what we're saying. This is when you know. You really want to know if you're evolving spiritually, see how you're triggered. See if you're triggered easily. Okay? See if you're triggered easily. So that is a marker for everybody. And many times when people are triggered like this, especially when you deal with conscious spiritual stuff, is because they are intellectuals. They're people who just read. They don't do any kind of spiritual work. They don't do any type of ritual work. And therefore, they want to, reveal their intellectual prowess. And they try to push it upon others as if no one has ever read a book. No one has ever studied anything. This is where you can check yourself and say, well, am I mostly based upon book knowledge, or am I really doing some kind of work? Ask yourself. We can't answer that for you. You have to ask yourself, are you really doing work, or is it based upon book knowledge? Because the problem is a lot of individuals try to promote book knowledge. There's a reason why you don't see myself, you don't see Demetrius, you don't see my brother Sarek Moose a lot on YouTube. It's because we're too busy doing work on ourselves. We're too busy creating rituals. We're too busy doing the work of this left-hand path. We don't have time to pop up here or social media. Hi, look at me. Hi, look at my 15 selfies today. Hi, look at this. Hi, look at that. Hi, 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 hi. You're not going to see that from us because we're doing work. Now go check someone else, and this is how you know they're into some fuckery. They will post shit every day, every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, every 40 minutes. What are you doing? Do you have anything to do in your life besides be on social media? See, the problem with social media is people have become keyboard warriors. You know, they like to type and threaten people behind scenes. Oh, where you at? Or I know where you live. Or I'll come do this. Bro, don't tell me you're gonna do it. Just show up and do it. Do you understand? Because otherwise than that, you just a keyboard warrior typing your opinions and anger and hatred upon people. So we got to get to the level where your work is of the utmost importance. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this for individuals. If you are with someone or around people who you feel you have to tiptoe to do your work, you might need to reevaluate your situation.
Yep.
You really might need to evaluate your situation because you should not have to get permission from your partner, your spouse, your friend, your mama, your daddy, or whoever to do this work. This is your work. And no one should be able to dictate to you what you do, how you do, when you do, for whatever reason. And if you do allow them to do that, you're giving up your power. You might need to ask yourself, why am I doing that? Why do I feel I need to do that? Okay. I'm saying this because it happens quite often. It happens quite often. I've met many individuals in this path who came into the classes and they were in a relationship. And unfortunately, about 75% never stood together. That's just a sad fact. A sad freaking fact, but it's a fact nonetheless. They didn't stay together. So we have to ask ourselves when we're doing this work, is this really what we want? And I always go back to the Sith for a reason. There's a lot of left-hand path and Sith philosophy, Sith teachings, but there's always one thing that sticks out above the rest. And that's the Sith code. And in the Sith code, it says, peace is a lie. There's only passion. I'm a focus on the word passion. If you're not passionate about doing this work, you're in the wrong place. If you're not passionate for your spiritual evolution and growth and transformation, you're in the wrong place. If you're not passionate about your health, you're in the wrong place. If you're not passionate to walk, to exercise, to get ahead physically, you're in the wrong place. You really are. Because you can talk all day and night. You could drop bombs upon bombs, which you can either verify or not verify many times. But if your health is waning, if you're sick, so on and so forth, are you really passionate about this work? This work in itself makes you want to be healthy. This work in itself makes you want to focus on everything about yourself passionately. Really go for self passionately. And that is one of the reasons why we do these classes. Because you should love yourself that much that nothing, and I mean nothing, nada, zippo, should stop you or dictate to you what is right, wrong, or you can or cannot do in the spiritual journey. This is the facts.
You're trying to, like I said, you're trying to live your best life. You're trying to keep your health up to live as long as possible. You know what I mean? So you can do the things that you want to do.
Listen, in vampirism, immortality is important. That doesn't mean physical immortality, though there's levels to that. It does mean you can be immortal mentally, spiritually. But in order to do that, you have to acquire enough gnosis in the time you have in this physical body to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
yes, it's important.
And also the cultivation again of the serpent force, life force,
That's
as
right.
well too. Because there was a statement that said, "Well, you can't take your money with you." Well, in a sense, yes, because my money, my wealth is the life in this body, the
Yep.
energy in this body, and to take that with me, so I can survive the death of this body. Most people do not survive their own death;
That's
they get
fact.
recycled, then lose all their memories, and then they're sent back to the power plant.
Again, again, and again.
That's the
Over.
whole purpose of the work is you're working daily to transform your own consciousness, to
That's
Mhm.
live
facts.
transform your own consciousness. Like the fabric of your mind is changing every single day. That's the whole purpose.
That's
What
fact.
what are you doing it for if you're not doing it for that?
Mhm.
All right. Another question here. What's a good ritual to deal with sexual desires? All right. First and foremost, here's what we got to do. First, I'm gonna give you a simple step before the ritual. Anthony Jahir, first thing is make a list of what your sexual desires really are. Now, it's easy to make a list, and sometimes it's not, because there might be new shit you add to it over time. But the reason I say is make a list is because the next step is the most important. Once you make that list, let's say you have 5 things that you really have a desire sexually to do. Okay. Then look at each 5, and now you're going to rank them in order. How do you measure the passion you have to do one of these 5 sexual desires? Well, I'll give you an example. If the idea of the desire, that sexual desire, doesn't create sexual turmoil, sexual pain. I don't mean pain like someone punching you. You'll understand what I mean by sexual pain. The pain is like, if I don't actually do this, it's just gonna frustrate me. It's gonna bring me to the breaking point. If one of these 5 doesn't bring you to that level, then it's not that important as you think it is. Okay? Your passion, your desire, your sexual desire should be so strong that if you don't accomplish it, it brings emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain, spiritual pain, sexual pain, so on and so forth. That's how you measure it. Okay? That's the second step. So after you list these 5, 2, 3, whatever it is, then you measure which one you have to have by the amount of sexual pain it brings you. And then the one that wins out, that's the one you need to focus on. Now, once you figure that out, okay, now that you figure that out, now you're going to do a ritual. And in this ritual, you're going to, well, I can't, just hit me on my email, brother. Or hit me up on Instagram at the Temple of the Black Serpent. If you have an Instagram page, just hit me up on the Temple of the Black Serpent and DM me there. All right.
And make sure your desire is illegal in your country you
Yeah,
reside.
exactly. We got to keep it legal because there's trolls watching all the time. So, but what I'm saying is, why is because the ritual I'm going to perform is not for everybody. So I'm not going to just share that. And then people say, oh, I did this stuff. Ravana, it's your fault. Dimitri, it's your fault. Sarek Moose, is your fault. No, you're not doing that to us. Sorry. So I'm gonna share a ritual with you, but I'd rather do it on DM me on Instagram if you can. And that in the ritual itself is going to answer even more and manifest your desire for whatever one wins out. Because the first one, the one that wins out, is the one you have to focus on. Because that's the one that can cause a lot of blockages, obstacles, and other things forming as well. Remember, this path we indulge, but with restraint. There's a reason why we say with restraint. Just like Demetrius says, some of that shit might not be legal. So you're going to have to restrain from that shit. Okay. Whatever it is. If it's legal, that's all good. But some of it's not so easy to accomplish depending what it is. So you indulge with restraint, but at the same time we indulge, but we restrain because we're not just gonna say, well, let me indulge and I'm just gonna wild out and sleep with 100 people, bro. No.
And another aspect to that, um, if it is a desire that it's illegal, or if it's something that's difficult to accomplish, or you're not trying to necessarily accomplish it, you may want to ask the question of why. What is it about this, or what is it about me that causes me to be drawn to this? And then you start getting to self-analyzing and shadow work too. Responsibility for self. That's part of being a god, is being responsible for everything you think, say, feel, and do. And that can be hard.
Yeah, it can. All right. Let's see what else. What else? Blah 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 blah. Jay Charles, what up, my brother? Yes, Grimancy, sorry. Serpent energy release is very painful. Unfortunately, we've been fooled by spiritual spookies who say it's so love, light, and peace, love, light. Kaka, no, it's not.
Absolutely not. I blew both of my fucking shoulders out in the
Exactly.
meditation.
Exactly. It's very intense and it can cause physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, so on and so forth. So you're right. It's very painful. But as these spiritual warriors, we go for it. Bring us all the smoke. We're going to face it head on.
Yep.
All right. Nathan Amaju. Our angel numbers message from our future selves. I couldn't tell you. I don't deal with angel numbers. I don't deal with angel magic. I don't deal with angels, anything. I do not and will not and have not fuck with that shit. Did at one time years ago, but that's not my shit. So couldn't answer that for you. Maybe one of these two gentlemen here could answer that for you, but I ain't into that angel shit.
I
Sorry.
would say it's just synchronicity. I don't know if it's from your future self or not, or angels or whatever. It's just synchronicities.
Yep.
I mean, it's whatever you ascribe to it. That could be a synchronicity to remind you of something, whatever that number represents for you.
Yep. Eric Jones, do you fellas know any meditations to open easy communications and workings with all draconic, serpentine, reptilian beings while awakening these aspects within self? Yes. Eric, hit me up on Instagram. I got some shit. I could send you some shit to help you. All right. Some intro shit that really will help you. Anthony Jahir says isotronic tones, binaural beats help with projection.
I think that don't work, but I mean, it's just me. I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Some people do, and some people say it works.
My opinion.
I would say test it out. Everybody, some people it works for, others it don't.
Yeah, it's the like brain entrainment and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you had the brain mind machines that did brain entrainment. I mean, if it works for you, great, if that assists you. But I'm interested in this next question, or the next statement here by Egregor.
Hold on, let me get them. All right. Where are we at? Traditional witchcraft teaches the raising of the serpent power through the earth herself. Go ahead, bro.
Well, yes. Like again, coming from maybe from a Eurocentric viewpoint, maybe like in the Emerald Isles, the earth itself is considered the dragon. Like Tiamat, we're on her body. That's where we're at. So you're drawing that power up into yourself. You're using that. There are rituals to call upon the dragon, call upon that force, and manifest that force for whatever working amongst the druids and others like that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, serpent power is always considered an earth energy because that's where serpents come from. They come from out of the earth. They into earth. They they shed, they have babies, and then they come out. They come out the earth. And I say in ancient Egypt, one of the symbols for earth was the square. Now, when you look at the different deities, some of the deities have a square symbol in their name. What that represents is that earth that they represent that earth energy, that serpent energy.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's just the earth. I mean, the serpent was always equated with the earth energy.
Yeah,
So
because when you look at Gambala and Aida Wedo, especially in their Veve, they're one is descending. Sometimes you'll see them both ascending, but they're also descending at the same time too.
Right. All right.
I've got to check out some of these new movies. Somebody is mentioning about the new Godzilla. I heard the new King Kong movie's got some wild imagery and symbolisms in it too.
Yep. Yes, they do. Um,
like you said about the dragon, though, the fact that the dragon, the earth represents the dragon Tiamat.
Mhm.
That's them in the mythos form explaining that energy, that earth is a serpent energy, it's serpentine.
Yeah.
um, Igor, fuck it. Uh, gave a technique also for Jahir that you might want to try. Visualize the objects of your sexual desires as hideous clepathic demons. That's one way. So you can try that if you choose to. Eric Jones, I just put my okay, you just followed me. Yeah, I think I just accepted you. Um, if you don't have one post, let me just say this for future comers that are watching this. If you don't have one post on your page and you request me, I don't accept you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you are. If you don't have no posts, I've been around this long enough to know it's some crack, whack shit.
Well,
So
hell, some of the ones with posts have been cracked. Yeah.
hell yeah, some of them are retarded too. So no disrespect, but I don't give a fuck. I'm just not accepting people if you don't have posts, if you don't have friends, none of that shit. Period. Nah, not the move tonight. I'm not really in the mood for shit like that tonight
Yeah.
anyway. So.
Looks like our last question here by Anthony Jahir.
Wait, it ain't showed up for me.
Yeah. Can working the cliff off be a good way to activate our consciousness as well?
Yes, we're all gonna answer this, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna probably finish it off. Go ahead, Demetrius.
Absolutely. For me, working the cliff off is like shadow work on steroids because as you go through each cliff off and each tunnel, um, there's aspects of yourself that's being revealed. There's aspects of yourself that's being transmuted and transformed. There's aspects of yourself that's being destroyed. But it's opening you up more and more and more. You're now channeling more as you climb higher or lower, however you see the tree. Um, you're opening up more and more, channeling more and more current, transmuting yourself more and more, becoming more than human. Because that's the whole point. You're taking in all this current, you're being changed. This is alchemy that's happening to you as you're on the tree. And as those energies start to presence themselves in your everyday life, and they will, do not be surprised because they will. You're being transformed on that level consciously, in your everyday life. So yes, it's a good way to awaken and empower the consciousness. If you're on this path, if you're on some other path, like right hand path, then the tree of life, the Sephiroth, would be your walk, as
Yep,
opposed to the cliff off, or both. You do them both.
that's right. Now the cliff off, as my brother was saying, it is a journey deep within the self. That's one thing the cliff off definitely specializes in. It's deep journey within the self. Now you have to be ready for what comes because what comes It's not always so easy to deal with. The Qliphoth has a way of ripping you apart, shredding you to pieces. Why? Because just like a Taoist belief or philosophy, right? The Taoists say in order to really learn something, you have to empty out your cup. Okay? That means all the shit you think you know, let's say it's in this cup right here. Okay? You have to empty it out. Completely empty it out, because all the things you think you know, all the things you've done, all the work you've done is going to conflict with what you're about to learn. It may cause a little strife, it may cause a little drama within your life, because you're trying to understand this new philosophy based on something you learned previously. Same thing with the Qliphoth. The Qliphoth rips you apart, tears you up, empties you out in order to really journey through there so that you really can benefit from the work. So the Qliphoth is essential. In my opinion, that's one of the traditions on the left-hand path that people should partake in. Okay? Not just the Qliphoth, but the tunnels of Set, which is intertwined and connected with the Qliphoth. So my brother Demetrius specializes in that. He has a lot of good workings that he created for the Tunnels of Set class on Patreon. And unfortunately, it seems like, I don't know what's happened. People are dropping instead of joining. And that's the work that people need. Honestly, to be honest with a lot of people, that type of work is what people need on this path. Not no hail Satan and fucking hail Bilal and all hail your mama's left tit. None of that shit. What we need is some serious shit that busts you right in your face and makes you address yourself. Makes you ask yourself serious questions that either propel you through the journey or make you stop and realize, I have a lot more work to do. I might need to take a few steps back before I continue. That's the kind of work people need. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people soften it up. They baby themselves. They pamper themselves to the point that they really don't want all the smoke. They say they do, but they don't.
That's why I construct those rituals the way I do, because it's very little that I add, and they have to have a real experience. The techniques that are put in place there are to open the experience, and then they have whatever happens. I'm not guiding them. To have some kind of, fucking new age, dark new age experience where they get tickled by the demons and they call them their special avatar and all that garbage. No, you're going to have a real experience. You're going to gain some current, some awareness, some gnosis, but it's you.
That's facts. And all the classes on Patreon that we have, it's not us. See, I think sometimes people are confused, or maybe they don't understand. It's not so much you're doing the work that we gave you. No, we just are sharing experiences and rituals that have benefited us, others, works that have opened up other people. The point is, that work either can help you or maybe do nothing for you. But if you don't take a step forward and say, you know what, until I really decide to do this work can't do nothing for me.
Yep.
Okay. And that's where our classes are simple. We're simple and to the point. You have to do the work. Okay. Period. You have to do the work. We're not going to hold your hand. We're not going to guide you. We're not going to do, softening up of anything. Everything is right to your face, hardcore. This is what it is. And your real warrior nature will either reveal itself, or you realize you're really not a warrior as much as you think you are. So the work will punch you, literally punch you in the face. But it's beneficial when you allow yourself to journey. Okay? Journey into your darkness to really understand yourself, because we've been flooded and drowned in the light for so long that people don't really understand that the darkness, they're scared of it. They are. Well, I don't care what people say. A lot of people are scared of their darkness, and your darkness has nothing to do with if you're violent, if you're angry, if you're this. No, it's a lot more than just that. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna see the new Godzilla movie now that he pointed this.
Yeah.
All right. One more question. One more.
Shemaine.
Yes. From Shemaine. Yes, that's her. All right. This is a good question now. Good question. Good,
Yes.
good, good. We're all gonna take turns here. Yo, Sarek Moose, man. You look like you this guy look like you still in darkness and you got light over there, brother. What's going on, brother?
It sounds like Cthulhu over there. Then he has the looks like something from the Sumerian mythos above his
Yeah.
head. That ceiling fan looks like an alien craft.
Yep. You got some octopus tentacles behind you, brother. Anyway. All right, so let's read what Shemaine posted here because this is a good, really good question. You mentioned being recycled back to this realm if you do not resolve your issue. So that means reincarnation is real. Isn't reincarnation another belief, a program? Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want me to you want me
Yeah,
to run with it first? Okay.
go ahead. Take first, brother. Take it first.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. And yeah, the reincarnation concept for a lot of people and the way it is presented is a belief. What from and this is just my opinion, so all of you Hindus don't come for me. Um,
Yeah.
my ideal of the reincarnation concept is that you're drawn back here due to your attachments.
Yeah.
You're overly attached to it, you know, the sensations of this plane or something up on this plane or a person or whatever, and then you try to leave your body and whatnot. You really don't. You just get pulled back here.
Yeah.
Or or you leave the body, then again, because as you got bullshit here, you got bullshit on the other side too.
Facts.
They call them archons, and they run the biggest scam I've ever seen. I'm like, damn, I don't hate the player, I hate the game.
Yeah.
Um, pulling out energy of people and just sending them back to the power plant blind. Because for me, that's why I think that like reincarnation kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Because like you're gonna come back lifetime after lifetime, but you don't remember your shit.
Yeah.
You go through a lot of stuff to go to try to remember your stuff.
Yeah.
And then you die and it goes away again. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. And why is that? And I started learning about the archons, and I'm like, that makes a little bit more sense to me.
Yep.
So yeah, I think people do get pulled back into this depending on how they what they're doing with their consciousness here, I think will bring them back to this place in that essence.
True. And I'm going to use the Matrix movie as an example. In the first Matrix movie, I always forget his name, but the bald-headed dude.
Morpheus.
No, not Morpheus. The white dude.
Oh, Cypher.
Cypher, yeah. Cypher actually wanted to be plugged back into the Matrix. He was tired of the real world.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be plugged back into the Matrix. I look at death and reincarnation as something similar. Some people, when they die, they don't want to experience death because when they get to that side, they realize it's not what they were taught. So their attachments, like Demetrius said, their attachments, their desires draw them back into this realm, and they keep experiencing this loop of life, the cycle of life, because they do not want to break free from it. They want to stay in the same cycle of life. Okay? Therefore, that is how I always see death and why spirits stay so attached to this realm. Why spirits are right there and the veil can be moved and you can speak and communicate with spirits, sometimes see them. Because many of them are hovering around this plane of existence. They don't want to leave. Why do you think we can, as necromancers, we can communicate with spirits? Why do you think we could get spirits to do work for us? Why do you think this is possible? Is because they have not let go or foregone their attachment to this plane of existence. They still want to taste the liquor. They still want to have sex. They still want to do all the things they had access to in the physical body. So they tend to go and figure out a process how to get back here. Okay. They figure out the process on how to get back here. So some people will never evolve out of here. They'll be here through this so-called reincarnation cycle out of choice. It's a choice. You do have a choice, just like you chose to come here in the first place. Think of yourself as energy. Okay. And you have a consciousness, but you're energy. You're just pure energy, but you have consciousness. What the fuck drew us to the planet Earth? Something drew us here because we chose to come here out of all the multiverses and all the different galaxies and all the different this. We chose this motherfucking planet.
You know, I kind of look at that like the story out of the Bible about the second fall when the angels looked at the women and said, damn, them chicks look good looking.
Yeah.
Decided to come here. I think it was like probably some bullshit like that. They were like, well, I wonder if there's some snapper down there, and came down there and got stuck.
Some people came here because they wanted to experience that fat ass. All right. Some people, I'm just being real. Some females came here because they wanted to experience that penis.
Getting their back blown out.
Yeah, they wanted to just be fucking. Anyways, they wanted to experience a lot of that shit. Some motherfuckers came here because they wanted to experience drugs. Now we may not believe that shit, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the world around you, and you'll see all these drug addicts everywhere. They wanted to experience it. When they experience it, they stay stuck in it, and they come back to it. They never break free. So life is a cycle, because for us to think otherwise means we don't understand what life really is. Life is not linear. Time is not linear. That's what they teach in this short-sighted science, short-sighted aspect of science.
And those physical pleasures, yeah, a lot of spirits do engage in. Some of them have mastered being able to engage in those and not get stuck. You ever watch American Horror Story? One of the stories, Coven, had Angela Bassett in it and Papa Legba. And they was doing fucking lines.
Yeah. Smoking weed, I mean,
he was blowing
lines and shit. Yes,
blowing lines with these people. I'm like, what?
But to see the thing that some people do not understand. That's really how it is in the astral realm.
Yeah,
the death realm is right there with the astral realm. That's what you have people in the astral realm doing lines, shooting up, all kinds of shit.
Okay. On the left-hand path, we have like a different perspective about, you say, reincarnation or death. Mm-hmm. You know, come here to build our empire and gain power and transform our consciousness, so when we do pass out, we can come back and build more and gain more power. When we come back here, we keep recycling to become more powerful. We're not trying to go to heaven like everybody else. We're trying to come back here to gain more.
And see, that's the master lesson right there. You build up an empire and whatnot, you leave the body, then you come back here and come back in your own bloodline to get that shit you left behind.
That's right. That's how it happens a lot, B. That's real.
Why you set up a trust. You can be like, where's my shit?
Yeah. That's what we do. That's why do you think people have these lineages and family lines and and all this? Is because that's your little empire. You built your little empire, you built your little, you know what I'm saying? And the more you exalt and raise up yourself, the more you leave behind, your legacy grows. And therefore, every time you incarnate, you're feeding off of the legacy you left behind. Look at ancient Kemet. Mm-hmm. Kemet is not 6,000 years old, 7,000 years old. Them fuckers are lying in science. They know Kemet is fucking at least 50,000 years old, according to their own fucking records and the guys ruling here and so on and so forth. This shit is over 50, 60,000 years. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Because even in India, they talk about their society and whatnot being super, super ancient, way more time than what they're saying.
Exactly.
60,000 years of time.
Exactly.
But the concept of building your empire and coming back, I think in one of the some of the material from the Temple of the Vampire actually talks about that too. Building wealth for immortality.
Exactly. Think of certain vampire movies, Underworld, for example.
Oh yeah.
The werewolves in the last Underworld. Can't remember the name. Blood Wars, I think it was. Underworld Blood Wars. Think of that. And they were cloning, the werewolves were cloning themselves, a bunch of different things. Cloning is just another way of extending your life for you to receive the immortal consciousness you're seeking.
They were talking about that in the Temple of Vampire too.
Exactly.
Archiving your DNA at that time. Cryogenics. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is nothing more than us repeating the same process that's been left there for hundreds of thousands of years for us to figure out in today's time. And as we become more aware and conscious, the more we start tapping into our each individual story. For example, our DNA in itself can hold, I think, about 5.2 billion years worth of information. I didn't say million. I said 5.2 billion years worth of knowledge and information can be stored within your DNA. You don't think that we're those people today trying to unlock that shit that's within inside of us? Yes, we are those people. Because we're the ones who are going within the freaking realms of infernal realms of chaos, destruction, death, and all kinds of shit to retrieve what's ours.
Yep.
And when you're going to the cliff path and the tunnel is set, and you're going to the realm of the undead, and so on and so forth, you're literally going in there because you stored some gnosis that belongs to you. You're trying to get it back. And you're saying, shit, I just remembered. I left this in let's say I left this in Gamaliel, the cliff of Gamaliel. I need to go in there. If I got to do some battle with the demons there, it is what it is because that belongs to me. They're safeguarding it from you because you told them keep it protected from myself until I'm ready to receive it. So they come challenge you every time you come there. And some of us haven't mastered shit enough to get it back. Yep. That's how I look at it, by the way. So I'm just leaving that there. All right.
I understand that. I mean, what would be the, what would be the purpose? Like, if you notice, most people when you listen to them, most people are trying to go to heaven, or they're trying to leave Earth and never come back. You know what I mean? But that's not how we think. We want the power. We want to build power, a power source. We want to gain power and wisdom. Keep coming back here and getting more powerful. We ain't trying to go to no spooky heaven in the sky somewhere. You know what I mean?
Just like, I'll give you an example. This even before the spiritual. This happened in the physical. In the physical, you have a lot of people, our people trying to go back to Africa. Some of our people are trying to go to South America. Some of our people trying to go. We're always trying to go somewhere else. There's a reason for that. It's because many a times when we go somewhere, we're going somewhere else, we think it's going to be better over there than it is here.
That's why a lot of them are running back.
Exactly. It ain't going to be better. A lot of our people that want to go to Africa, there's something they realize when they get there. You're loved when you visit, whether it's Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, whatever. You're loved when you visit. But when you live there, the love ends. And I'm going to tell you why. You no longer are a tourist spending your money there, creating more wealth and tax dollars. You're now competing with them for a job. So you're no longer a tourist. You are a competition now. Just like here in America, which was built by immigrants since hundreds of years ago. Anytime immigrants come over, it's a big stank. Everybody gets upset, even though everybody's from somewhere else most of the time, except for the indigenous people here. And we always come up with stories. The immigrants are doing this and they're doing that, right? They're leaving their country to come here because they think it's paradise. Yeah, many of us are leaving here to go somewhere else because we no longer think this is paradise. This is just the way the world is. Okay? But when those immigrants come here, they're now competition for the jobs, so we don't like them no more. That's the problem. We hate them because they're competing for our jobs. but they're taking jobs no one's doing and stopped doing a long
Yeah,
time ago.
exactly.
What the hell are we complaining about? People are freaking taking and upset and mad, but we ain't doing those jobs anymore. That's the problem. So
A lot, a
understand
lot
something. We're always seeking paradise somewhere else, but the only true paradise you will ever receive is when you go inside yourself and deal with yourself. That is the facts that people miss all the time. You have to deal with yourself. If you don't, I don't care what outfit you put on. I don't care who or what you call yourself today. And tomorrow you call yourself stud nicely, and we're all supposed to believe you're stud nicely. You might be trash. But this is the mindset people take. Oh, I changed my name. I'm someone new. No, you're not. The same issues and bullshit you had before is still there. You just ain't change it. This is why I laugh when people come into this room and they change their name 5 times. Like I don't see them. Like you guys don't see how many different times. Because they type the same way. They say the same things. They write out the same stuff. Come on, man. Stop creating 5 different identities and be yourself. Period. When I know a person has 15 Instagram pages, it's a fucking problem, B. Which one are you today? Tahuti? Which one are you tomorrow? The devil himself? I mean, what is the problem here? I'll tell you what the problem is. We're all fucktarded to a point, and we ain't dealt with that shit. Deal with your fucktardedness, man, and we'll be all right. But that's where we're at. We're stuck in a mindset of never progressing, thinking we're moving forward, but when the times get hard and people get in the tunnels of set, and there's now 2 people left when there was 6 or 7 in there, where y'all running to? Oh, I know why you run is because it gets hard on yourself because now you're facing yourself and there's no one there but you and yourself. And sometimes that gets too overwhelming for people. They look at themselves and say, whoa, shit, I'm all fucked up. Yes, you are. We're all fucked up. But once you accept that reality, yes, we're all fucked up, then starts to change and transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff that's fucked up about you is not as fucked up as you think it is. That's what society makes you think. So you got to be able to figure this out and integrate some of that fucked upness with some of that other stuff. That's just how it works. I ain't trying to destroy all the craziness inside of me. I need some of that. And y'all shouldn't be trying to destroy some of your craziness either.
You said the most important word is that acceptance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the most powerful thing when it comes to your shadow work is accepting that this is all of me. And I don't give a fuck. This is me. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna embrace every aspect.
You
Every
have
single.
to.
Yeah.
You have, bro. You have to. Some of y'all like midgets. Hey, it is what it is. We don't have to co-sign that shit, but some of y'all do. All right. That's just the reality. So why would you deny it? Why would you run from it? Why would you hide from it? It's a fact. You love it. Period. Okay. So no one has to co-sign that shit for you, but humans have this problem where we need someone to co-sign to validate ourselves. No, you don't. Stop that shit. You should be able to validate yourself. Okay. Some of y'all like fat asses. Some of y'all like white girls. Oh, I see some of y'all in here like white girl. Don't play that shit with me, man. Do not play that shit.
That's enough. That's enough.
All my life, I came through the conscious community. Don't get that twisted. And I will see the most pro-black brothers talking about pro-black this and the black goddess is queen. And after that lecture, guess where that black brother was at? Dipping in some white chocolate. Okay? That's where he
Hanging
was
out
at.
Buffy's house.
Yeah. He was fucking Karens and shit. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Just be real with yourself. We got this all twisted. No one has to co-sign what you like or don't like. No one. You just got to like it for yourself and accept it. Accept it and embrace it. Okay? That's the real deal. Love yourself. Don't matter. Because if you don't accept that part of yourself, you're only going to continue lying, running, hiding, disappearing, and doing all the nonsense that people do. If you realize, hey, I love myself, and you know what? I like this or I like that or whatever. I don't care who accepts that, who doesn't, who gets angry, who doesn't. I have to live for me and enjoy for myself. Okay? That's just where it comes down to. And until we get to that level, you can't really get past shadow work because you're going to keep
Yep.
doing that over and over and over because you haven't really accepted all parts of yourself. You're still shunning and hiding many parts of yourself. What are some ways you can work on so you don't die and get recycled? Are there many ways? Here's a fun fact, fun boy. Wow. See how I wrote that, right? This is a fun fact. I'm gonna start rhyming in a second. Anyways, here's a fun fact. You're gonna die. That's the first thing you gotta do, is accept you're gonna die. At some point in time, you're going to die. You're just physically, your physical body dies. Your energy body doesn't die. What you need to focus on is that you retain consciousness when you cease to physically have a body.
That's why we have meditation.
Exactly. Because
Meditation is nothing but the dry run for death.
exactly. And this the problem with a lot of people when they die, they come back and don't have no consciousness that they've retained. So you come here like a clean slate again, forgetting everything. That's not the move. I'm just be real. We trying to establish and enforce our consciousness to become immortal so it can, if you do come back, you can and have found ways to retain that. Okay. Well, we live in a world, in a society that demonizes your ego. That's the right hand path. It annihilates your ego. It wants to annihilate and destroy your ego. Fools. What fools these mortals be. I'm going to tell you why they're a fool. You have to understand this. Your ego is what led you to learn this shit in the first place. Your ego is what put you on a spiritual journey in the first place because you're trying to figure out who, what, where, when, and how. You're trying to ask those simple questions to get simple answers. And to destroy your ego means that journey ends. The right hand path wants you to annihilate your ego. It wants you to demolish your ego and just merge back into oneness. You're just supposed to be a fucking water-based creature. I'm just using a water example. You're just one drop being added back into the ocean. No, on this left-hand path, I am the fucking ocean. And I'm taking the drop that I currently use to exist in this plane of existence, in this multiverse, and I'm putting it back into my ocean.
Yep.
That's how you should work this. Not ever thinking, damn, I can't retain my consciousness, so it means I just should die. I should just let it happen. No, this is why we keep repeating things over and over because we are so brainwashed into accepting that we die and that's it. You can't remember nothing. You're just gonna come back again. You're this. We're all fucking accepting that nonsense, but we can't accept the fact that you can bypass all that shit and break free from all natural laws and create a new existence. That's where the work comes in, is create a new existence. How do you do that? How do you do that? By
Yeah.
facing the bullshit, the old self first. That's where you begin at. Go ahead, bro.
And I see Grigor Adami said practice being a spirit. That is actually very good. There's a version of that. It's called skeleton dancing. Put on some music that you really love, you like to dance, visualize yourself as a skeleton, and then get down. Anytime that you're walking around or doing anything, always bring your attention to that. Bring your attention to your skeleton and see yourself just as bones.
Fun bar, are you asking is this supposed to be tarot cards?
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying, tarot.
Yeah, the T was missing.
Instead of tarot root, because the other is tarot root
Yeah.
without the T.
I'm just making sure, brother, because I'm like, tarot. Who the hell's tarot? Anyways, you can okay. Here's my thing with tarot cards and anything else. This is just my opinion. I don't give a damn two shits who agrees or not. Okay. I really don't give two shits about tarot cards, fucking astrology, motherfucking Akashic records, none of that shit. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of times when you're doing a tarot reading, if you're not doing it for yourself and someone does it for you, you already knew the answers before that motherfucker pulled them for you. Okay? That's one. Two, do you really need a tarot card to do alchemical changes? No, you don't. Do some shadow work and you'll know all you need to do to create changes. Now, I'm not telling you not to use tarot cards. I just personally don't use them shits. Okay? Sometimes I do if I do a reading and the individual wants it done that way, that's fine. But I could read that motherfucker without a tarot card. Okay? So it's all a personal choice. If you really want to do some alchemical changes, do some shadow work or do some spiritual alchemy, the 7 stages of spiritual alchemy. Do you understand? Because that in itself will create the changes necessary. Go ahead. Anybody else want to add on to that? Tarot cards? Anybody?
Well, you can do magic with tarot cards. I've seen that done using the images, sort of like archetypal images from the cards. Especially depending on your deck, you can use them, lay them out on your altar or whatnot, and do work with them that way. I've known witches, and these were elder witches, old witches from old school traditional witchcraft, charge up a deck with like put entities in each card and work them that way. People would just get or flip the cards over and just catch some spiritual hands, some current that way. Um, so you can use them that way or not at all. It's not a necessary thing.
Yeah. Now he asks, is there a good book on it? To my understanding, I don't really know of any good books on shadow work. There's a lot of the shadow work that we know about today has been watered down bullshit. To be honest with you, it's become some new age crapshoot that fucking they're using now and pimping people off of. To be real with you, real shadow work, you just have to seek people who are really having really good shadow work classes. Cosmic Serpent does that. The Cosmic Serpent has a YouTube channel. She does shadow work. In our Patreon class, we have a shadow work class there too. Right now we're at the beginning stages of the shadow work class, so we do that. And it might be worthwhile if you're into that. The 7 stages of alchemy basically are 7 different stages that create change within the psyche of the human. And these changes are necessary. For example, I'm not going all over all 7 because this is the time I'm starting to get tired.
Yeah, it's
I know
getting
they're
late,
getting
and
tired.
I gotta make a phone call after this.
But I'm gonna tell you this. The first one is this. You begin with calcination. Okay. Calcination is basically destroying all aspects of yourself that you need to focus on. Okay. And then after that, you do dissolution. After you turn yourself into ashes, you take the ashes and put them in water. You dissolve them in water. That's the second step. So from there, there's 5 more steps that actually help you break down the self and then build the self back up. That's what spiritual alchemy really is. And there's 7 stages to all that. All right. So shadow work is fun, boy. You just gotta look up, see who's doing it, who's not, and see what who you're drawn to work with. That's it.
And some of
But
your left-hand path rituals will help you with some of that too. Work some of that stuff out. Like some of the books by Asenath Mason has some rituals in there.
yep,
Even the Temple of Ascending Flame website, she has some open rituals and things that you can
yep,
download off the site that you can work with.
yep. The open projects as she calls them.
Yeah.
Look up an individual called Loner Wolf. He's like a shaman. He breaks down what shadow work is, and he breaks down the 7 stages of alchemy. So that'll help you there too, fun boy. And then check out our Patreon page, Temple of the Black Serpent. Well, patreon.com, Temple of the Black Serpent. So let me finish this off here, and then I'm gonna let them have their closing statements. First of all, thank you all for showing up this evening. Someone got triggered in here this evening, but it was all fun and good. Anyways, so we have Patreon classes. Temple of the Black Serpent is the name of the Patreon page. Right now, we have the Tunnels of Set, which is before, mind you, before the Cliffa. We're doing it this way purposely. You're going to journey through the 22 tunnels of Set, and each of those tunnel has levels of shadow work, has levels of magic, has level of demonology, has different levels of work. Okay. And then from there, we're going to transform. After we're done with all 22, we're going to go into the cliff hop and do the 11. Some say 10, some say 11, depending if you add Dath. Doesn't matter. We're going to do that. We have 2 vampiric classes. One of them is called Awakening the Sleeping Dragon. That one is just showing you basic steps, vampiric meditation, so on and so forth. The next one, which is a little more advanced, the vampire class, which is the Order of the Black Serpent. In there, we're currently doing vampire alchemy. And we just started in calcination, where you are just basically leaving the human self behind to create the new vampiric self. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right, we have that one. We have a necromancy class. The necromancy class, we're also in the beginning stages. We're doing some psychic work on utilizing concentration, utilizing objects to open up your psychic senses and awareness to be able to tap into spirits. Okay? What else we're doing? Shadow work. We have the shadow work class currently there. We just did the shadow work mirror ritual. Now we're going to do destroying the program self, which is next. Okay? We have, I think that's it, right? Fuck, I can't.
Yep, I think it's getting late.
Yeah, it's getting late, man. And then I have a Sith Patreon page. The Sith Patreon page is for those who love the Sith, working of the Sith, but Sith page is a little more challenging than Temple of the Black Serpent. You go through 11 physical, mental, spiritual challenges before the real spiritual work begins as a Sith. Okay? And that is not for the weak. That is for the strong. All right? Okay, so there's what's going on here. You can reach me at the Temple of the Black Serpent on Instagram, the Temple of the Black Serpent on patreon.com. And that's my contact information. Brother Sarek Moose, take it away, brother. Don't forget to announce, brother, the class coming up next Saturday.
All right. All I just want to say is, just do the work, stay focused. This is a lifetime journey, and come check out the class on the 27th. It will be in Tampa at the library Clyde Blith off of Martin Luther King, and we'll be explaining Serpent Power in more detail so you can get a deeper understanding. We'll also share techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said before, you're adults. So if you choose to use these techniques, you're responsible for anything after that. And hey, just come check out the class. It's going to be dynamic. April 27th,
Yeah. And what time does class start, brother?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. It's a live class, face-to-face class, which doesn't happen nowadays too often. So if you want to see myself and Brother Sarek Moose, we'll be in Tampa, April 27th, right? Yeah, April 27th at 10 a.m. The class will be as long as you guys make it. So if you ask questions, we'll be there longer. If you don't, peace out. All right. So yeah, go ahead, Demetrius. Give your contact information, closing statement.
All right. Well, this has been a good uh, class tonight. I've really enjoyed that, and I thank everybody for coming out. And remember, the concept of serpent power does not have to be overly complicated or difficult. We all have it, and it's all active within us
Mm-hmm.
at the time. It just the work you do makes it more active.
Facts.
A lot of people think they got to do something to get it going. Like, no, it's already going. It's the power of your creativity is what that is. Especially if you're a very creative person, that means your Kundalini, your serpent power is a little bit more active. And my contact information is my email is demetriusl.clark@gmail.com. And mostly I do like spiritual counseling, talk with people. If working some of this stuff and you need some questions that you need to ask, or because I also include some work I do on people too,
Mm-hmm.
when they become one of my clients or in that space to help them along their walk. So for a nominal fee, of course, it's not much. I'm not trying to hit you in your wallet.
So here's so now you have our contact information, know what we do. It's up to y'all what you do next. Interesting fact here, real quick, y'all, before I get off. So YouTube, the statistics show me the average view time. 21 minutes. God damn, people got some short ass attention spans. 21 minutes, bro. That's how long people just can tune in. And after that, who knows what they do. But anyways, appreciate y'all for coming out. It's been fun. It's been great. Patreon, my Patreon members, we will see y'all next week. All the classes will be next week. Oh, the mentorship class. I also have a mentorship class. I forgot to mention that. Some of the classes I had to combine next week because, as my brother Sarek Moose stated, Saturday I'm going to be in Tampa all day. So I'm not going to be able to do classes on Saturday like I normally do. So I had to combine some of them together for Thursday and Friday. All right. So all the classes will be this week. So I'm going to see some of y'all from Patreon this week.
Mhm.
Come ready because I know I gave a lot of work last time. I'm going to make a poll tomorrow asking y'all if in fact you want to do class because I know some. I noticed some. Let me just be real here now. If y'all ain't finished the work, we ain't moving forward. And I'm going to tell you why. It will not benefit you all, especially for vampiric alchemy and the what's the other alchemy I did? Shit, where else? Well, whatever. For the alchemy, don't play. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because you have to have completed calcination before we move on to dissolution. If you ain't
Mhm.
done it, we're wasting our time. You
The
get what
alchemy
I'm saying?
doesn't work.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put up a poll for all the classes in each of the membership tiers. Be real. If you need more time, I have no problem giving more time because I know I give a lot of work. Demetrius gives a lot of work. We love to fucking give a lot of work. Sometimes, Dimitri, I think that's why people leave because we just keep punching them, punching. But anyways, that's just us. But we love doing a lot of work. Why? Because we do a lot of work and we love it and we see the benefits of a lot of work. So just be real. If you say, "Hey, yo, I need an extension. We need 2 weeks to another month." Fine, I have no problem with that. Okay, because the work doesn't stop.
Mhm.
And like I told y'all, this the ones who are especially doing the alchemy and the mentorship and the shadow work. You can't rush shadow work. You can't rush alchemy. You can't rush that stuff. So if a month wasn't enough, I understand life is complicated. We get busy with stuff. Be real. There's no shame in the game. All right. All right, y'all. Infernal blessings to all who showed up this evening. I appreciate y'all for coming out. We will be having another live class soon. I might even sneak another one in before the end of this month or early next month. But these live classes getting juicy, y'all.
Yes.
I'm enjoying them more. Everybody's enjoying them more. So, all right, y'all. Hey, Sarek Moose, wake up, brother. Wake up, brother. It's time for you to handle some business, brother. You know what I'm talking about there. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so, all right, everybody, infernal blessings. Bye-bye. All right, before I don't say nothing, y'all, because I got to shut this off on Zoom, too. Hold on. Don't say nothing.